Testing 1 2. There we go. Let's get out here and get active. All right, so starting out the morning, the one that I saw leading the day was CNEY. All right, so this one, let's go and look into what's going on over here on CNEY. So we see that it hit a high of 258, is our leading mover right now in the low floats with 17 million shares traded. Has a ATR from the closing of Friday of 10 cents and has moved from the starting move was down here from 143 all the way up here to 258. So we'll see if we can find any structure, and let's go ahead and look into this thing and see why it's moving. Good morning, Mike B. All right, so let's get over here and research this a little bit. CNEY, CN Energy Group. Another thing I had was looking around TOS, and they actually have a think log. I did not know they had this where I can actually put my notes, and I was working through this yesterday, and some of the things that I was put up here for topics in mind for the week was gold, AI, and tokenization. Gold, because SMX was heavily connected to gold. AI has been in the news every single day, tokenization. And today we see this robotics stock pop up. So let's go ahead and look into CNEY. Go to research and go over here to profile. All right, so CN Energy Group Inc., through its subsidiaries, manufactures and supplies wood-based activated carbon in China. The company's activated carbon is used in pharmaceutical and industrial manufacturing, water purification, environmental protection, and food and beverage production. It also engages in the generation and supply of biomass electricity, forestry, project investment and development activities, sale of minerals, stone, metal, materials, construction materials, wood, chemical materials, and products, rubber products, and paper products. I mean, they pretty much do everything, don't they? Management of conversion of forests and natural ecosystem, and forest acquisition, rights transfer, nurturing, and timber harvesting and processing activities. CN Energy Group Inc. was incorporated in 2018 and is based in Laishou, China. Laishou. I don't know. Okay, so this is a Chinese company. So let's go ahead and notate that. So it may actually be blocked on TOS. I'm not sure. I haven't tried to take a trade yet. But this is a Chinese company. And let's go over here and look at the float and all of that good stuff. All right, float is looking like under 1,695,000 shares out there in the float. 695. Okay. Then we have, so we did profile, we did the float. Let's look at the news for today. All right. So this news came from an hour ago. CN Energy Group Inc. announces launch of Pathinbot robotic solutions platform and Pathinbot's official website. Out of Lishu, China. CN Energy, blah blah blah. Wholly owned subsidiary has launched its robotics solution platform and its official website. So I will go and look at that website in just a minute. This launch represents the next step in development of PathinBot's intelligent robotics initiatives. North American Intelligent Automation. All right, let's keep going and see who they actually service here, because it says North American and intelligent automation market continues to see increased demand. PathinBot's mission is to provide customizable intelligent robotics products and related automation services to small and medium-sized industrial logistics and catering businesses in North America. All right, so the only problem is it's talking about North America, but North America already has a robotics division. They're just, I guess they're just mentioning that in this news report as if it is coming into North America, but it doesn't have any kind of, I don't see any kind of partnerships or anything here. Let's see, mission. So their mission is to do business or provide automation services to or in North America. I don't know about that. All right, let's go and look at what TOS News has to say here. I think it might have a similar news update. CN Energy Group announces launch of robotics. Yep, it does. Okay. Yep, similar. So they're trying to get into North America, and I don't see any news on partnerships, which is why they could be going down right now. And one of the things I'm going to do is add, robotics, but these Chinese stocks are kind of always fishy, going from 258 back down to 174. And like I said, it might actually even be blocked. Let me see if I put in 0. I know this probably won't work. Let me try to do a day trade instead of extended and see with one share and see if it'll block me. So let me buy the bid. Yep, it's blocked. Blocked on TOS. So this one, CNEY, is blocked on TOS. Just tried to do a buy, just a test buy, just to see if it was blocked. And I think TOS is definitely getting more and more aggressive on blocking these types. I see another one popping up that is up 51%, which is Kala. Kala. Kala just popped on 49% now with 5 million shares traded. So let's go and check it out. Kala. Kala Bio. Pulling up the research right now. As for the profile, or wait a minute, where's my profile? Hurry up. Okay, so Kala Bio Inc., a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company, engages in the research, development, and commercialization of therapies for rare and severe eye diseases. The company's lead product candidates include KPI, which is a phase 2 clinical trial for the treatment of persistent corneal epithelial defects and limbal stem cell deficiency. Okay, so this is a biotech company out of Arlington, Massachusetts. So at least it's American, probably won't be blocked. So let's go ahead and notate that. So Arlington, Massachusetts. US based. Okay. And then let's go over and look at the statistics. So looking like it has a float of 8.15 million. Okay. All right, let's go look over here in TOS. It's crazy how that Chinese stock CNIE or EY just went on down. People just saw it was Chinese. They did their due diligence and they just avoided it like the plague. Another one that is also coming up the stretch here is W Buy. I see it up 34% with 3 million shares traded. So, you know, the leaders right now, Kala and W Buy. I don't know if W Buy has any news today. It does not. So definitely be careful on that one. W Buy. W Buy actually may be. Is that a Chinese stock? Let's see. W Buy. W Buy. Are you Chinese? It is a Singapore. So another Asian stock, Singapore stock. So I will notate that as well. So we got two Chinese stocks up there. Neither one of them are doing super hot, and WBuy does not have a catalyst. So we will say we will start off with no catalyst, no catalyst. It's not a Chinese, but it is an Asian-based stock. With a float of, where is that float? It is under 1,972,000 in the float. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna test it out to see if it is blocked over here on TOS. So let's just buy the bid. Yep. Yep. So both of these Asian-based stocks are blocked. They are blocked. WBuy and CNEY are blocked here. For the higher floats, Nvidia is the only thing that has made it to 1 million shares traded here in pre-market. But it is red 1%. The overall market, let's go look at that. Overall market had a nice little move up, continue to kind of try to hold this line here, trend line from it was back there somewhere, but trying to hold it, ended up coming back down to the 20, right above the 2500s. And also yesterday we saw a kind of a major fall off in Bitcoin right at the end of the day. It was like almost a $4,000 drop, from 91,000 all the way down to like 80 something, 85. Yeah, so it's still doing this thing to the downside. Let me make sure y'all can see this. So right here, it was at 91,000 yesterday and took a nice drop down here to 85,000, continuing to pull back. So we're just waiting and seeing what Bitcoin wants to do as well. So the two tickers that we've seen this morning that possibly could give range were Chinese and are blocked on TOS. Okay. So we're just jumping around collecting information right now. And again, I'm going to start implementing or using this more in the tools on TOS. They have a think log where you can actually create notes. And, you know, a lot of times I do my notes on the chart itself, but I mean, like overall, like notes to keep in mind. Like gold from last week with SMX was the big ticker on Friday, ran from like $4 all the way to $76. So I'm looking for if there's any kind of trickle down effect on that news, and then AI and then tokenization. So I will be definitely using those notes. I love notes, love documentation. That's how you make a business work. You have no notes, you have no documentation, you don't have a business. You have something. I don't know what you have, but it's definitely not a business. All right, so Kala pulling back. Now Kala, let me look back at Kala. This was a biotech. Let me make sure I notate that. And KALA. And Kala looking like it's going to be it's above the ATR high, but it's headed back down there pretty quickly. It does have news on the day, it says it enters into a 6 million securities purchase agreement with investor David E. Lazar, right? So let's continue messing around with Kala and continue to improve the notes that we have on it. Okay, so out of Arlington, this is a biotech stock with 38 employees. Okay, so healthcare biotech, 38 employees. Let's take a note of all of that. Edit. Boom, just like that. The healthcare. All right, so now let's go ahead and activate. So this is all the notes that I got. So out of Massachusetts, US based, float of 8.5, and I should probably put million on there so I don't get confused with thousands or whatever like that. Let me edit and put 8.15 mil. Okay. And so yeah, went up here to 151. It's up 27%. WeBuy is taking the reins from it, up 29%, but it's kind of not looking bullish, going downward instead of upward. So Kala would be the next in line. I'm just looking at my low flow scanner here. SMX. Let's go look at SMX as well. It was the big mover from Friday, right? So it moved from, I might need to go to the 15-minute because there's so much on the screen. All right, so moved from like $5, 440s, all the way up to almost $80, right? And I had marked this thing up. I really didn't. It was choppy. It had really long wicks, and it just was doing a whole lot of movement on Friday. It was kind of like a crossover of death because one, Friday was the last trading day of the month. Of course, it was like a Hail Mary throw, and I believe that shorts got killed because of that. Two, it was Black Friday, a discount day, and it was a short day. So there was a lot of overlapping confusion and kind of uh, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, bad omens on that day. So I just was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm green on the month and all of that stuff. Let's just let this thing play out and look for the next opportunity. So this is the one that came up on the gold news. Basically, they're using the chemical makeup of the gold as a identifier of gold. So like gold that is in phones, gold that is taken out of the ground. Basically, it's you can go back up the origin line just like you can in blockchain. Go block by block all the way to the origin line of where the gold actually was traced from with the chemical signature of the gold. So that's the system that they made up, and that's the or not made up, but that's the system that they have found and are trying to implement in or as a gold standard to have more identifiable gold out there. All right, so let's jump back over to, let's see. So we got all of these have reached 1 million shares traded. Only two of them are still holding above 10%. So we got Kala over here from Massachusetts, and we got WeBuy over here from China. And WeBuy has a whole lot less volume. I wonder why. People are really, when people start figuring out that TOS and TOS is a main retail day trading site, especially a free one with the best charts. When they start seeing that volume from TOS leaving pre-market, leaving the intraday, you're gonna see less trades on these Chinese stocks because TOS and Charles Schwab is not playing these games with these Chinese stocks. They're like, nah, we good. But Kala out here is from Massachusetts, so I'm thinking, and it has 11 million shares, so let's just pop down to that. I'm thinking this is going to be a leader on the day. It hit a high up here of 151. Let's also go and look at the daily chart as well for this one. So on the daily chart, we have seen Kala take quite a bit of a it's probably had a couple of splits in here. I don't know how many splits it's done, but it is down. It closed down here at 96 cents. Had a peak out here of 114, so we'll go ahead and mark that up. 114. That's a possible daily peak. So I'm gonna put peak daily level on that. Zoom back a little bit. So it had a area gap fill area up here around the 129. So we'll go ahead and mark that up. 129, 130. That's the higher gap level. Higher gap level. Higher daily gap level. Daily gap level. Okay, let's back up some more. So the lower is down here at $1.04. So we will duplicate, drag this down, and put lower on this one. Higher, lower. Okay, and then above that, above 129s, let's see. So it had a peak out here around 170. So we'll see what happens up there. Possible resistance, but I'm just gonna put possible daily level. I'm not sure if it's resistance or support. Possible daily level. We'll see once we get there, I guess. I just put peak daily level. And let's back up a little bit more. 170, but beyond that, it's not much to see. Pretty much just trading. 170 is the point that it's got to beat if it's going to try to beat anything today. So Kala is the leading for the low floats and needs to beat $1.70. It went up to 150, but I don't know if it's going to have enough gas to get on through there. Let's go and look back into its news one more time. So Kala Bio enters a $6 million securities purchase agreement with investor David E. Lazar. Let's go and see what else we can find out about that. Okay, so, and also, does it have any kind of shelf registrations is another thing. So Kala, because we know it's done splits in the past. Good morning, Donnell. Doing our due diligence this morning. We got 2 Chinese stocks that tried to trap people in there, but TOS, Charles Schwab, protecting us with this almighty superpowers of blocking trades. So no trades on the Chinese stocks, and the only one that I saw from US is Kala. So we're looking into Kala and seeing, okay, it does have a shelf registration from January 24th of this year. So we're still in the 2-year window for the shelf registration. Let's go back over to here. And Kala Bio enters. Let's read and see what we got here. Arlington, clinical stage, commercialization. Okay, so 6 million securities purchase agreement with private investor David E. Lazar for the purchase of the company's non-voting convertible preferred stock. Kala received a 1.8 million. Received 1.8 million in the first 2 closings under the agreement. Okay. Effective immediately, Mr. Lazar has been appointed Kala's chief executive officer and chairman of the board. Former chief executive officer Todd Bazemore continues to serve on the board. Okay, so I mean, it's just an investor coming in. So he says, in making this significant investment in Kala, I look forward to continuing to evaluate and redevelop the company's product candidates while actively exploring strategic opportunities to drive value for our stockholders, said Mr. Lazar. I appreciate the Kala board's unanimous support for this transaction and faith in my ability and proven track record to build upon the company's foundation. David brings to Collar significant capital restructuring and reverse merger expertise. And I look forward to working with him to evaluate and redevelop the company's product candidates and identify business opportunities and strategic alternatives that could help transformative or could be transformative for Kala. Okay, so in conjunction with the securities purchase agreement's first closing, Kala has issued new shares of non-voting convertible Series AA preferred stock in exchange for Mr. Lazar's initial investment of 1.8 million into this company. Okay. Well, as a single investor, we'll see what they come out with. I don't know if he's going to be the reason that it goes bonkers. I don't think so. But I mean, it's a tradable stock. I don't know how much the opportunity is, but let's go over here and look and see if we can find any structure. So it started from 90 something cents, 97 cents, did a little bit of a drop off down here. The lows are 90 cents down here, and it is playing right above this ATR high. A lot of times when we look at these low flows, we want to see it getting above this ATR high and pushing away from it and staying away from it. But this one's coming back and giving it the kiss of death at 119. And so basically this little line here, this red line is based on the ATR from yesterday. So Kala's ATR closing yesterday was 22 cents. So basically you have ATR high and ATR low. This green line down here is the ATR low. This red line up here is the ATR high. And basically is adding and subtracting the ATR from the closing price of yesterday, right? So 22 cents from the close upward, and then 22 cents from the 22 cents down from the close. What we want to see is it get above the ATR high and move up and stay up away from this ATR high. If we were to look back at SMX and look at this move, let me back up a little bit. Oh boy, back up a little bit. So this is the 1 minute. Let's see, can we get back here? Okay, so looking at this ATR high here. So this was from the previous day. This little red line here, $24.05. This was this ATR high. It got up, it came back down, it held that ATR high, and then it started to branch out from there and move upward, right? So that's what we want to see, is it moving up. I don't really want to see it felling the ATR high, felling back down here, because that's weakness. I want to see it stay above, and then the dynamic ATR high or the dynamic ATRs come in during the intraday, which track every 14 bars. So you go back 14 bars and it shows you where the previous move was. So it got above that ATR and continued to hold and move up and all of that good stuff on SMX. So that's what we're looking for. Okay, so back over to Kala at 22%, right on this ATR high, just hugging it. Has the higher daily gap right here that it tested at the 129 that we got from the daily chart. The peak daily right here at 140, the lower daily gap down here at 104s. So a couple of levels becoming a little bit of an issue for it. Anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend. We jumped in hot and heavy today with some backside research, and I think we learned quite a bit. We learned how not to just jump in, I guess. And TOS also stepped in and gave us a helping hand. Good morning, Senate. We are out here in these streets trying to see. Oh, let's just go over and look at the regular news. That's what we haven't done. We've just been looking at these low floats. Let's go see what's going on in the world today. All right, so let's see. Chanos warns of debt risk tied to NVIDIA AI chips. Treasuries fall as Japan sell-off ripples through bond markets. U.S. and U.K. near zero tariff pharma deal. BYD sales drop for third straight month as rivals churn on EVs. Silver jumps 2% to record high as soaring rally outpaces gold. Cow Pang stock wait, sinks after massive data leak. Bitcoin plunges below $86,000 in risk-off start to December. Yeah, I was watching Bitcoin yesterday night, and I wonder what's going on. And I mean, it dropped $4,000 in like minutes. It was like, oh wow, that's not great. So still Bitcoin. I think there's some what do you call it? Some loss harvesting going on at the end of the year. I'm not sure if that's what's going on, but definitely some droppage out there. Trump says he made his Fed chair pick to replace Powell. Um, let's see. I don't know if we'll get that Santa rally. Yeah, that's what I was. I mean, I'm looking around the markets too. I'm like, ew. But with a 20 year period or 20 year of history of the Santa rally in December, I don't know. That's a hard thing to break, especially now that we're out of the shutdown. The data that we were supposed to have is playing catch up, and we are getting numbers now. I don't know if we're not going to see it. Let's see. U.S. stock futures slide as mood turns downbeat. Indian e-commerce firm Mesho leans on AI new business lines to drive growth. BHP is said to have offered 40 billion pounds in aborted bid for Anglo. Copper holds near record high as supply fears grip global market. Traders bet the rebound in risky small caps has further to run. Litigation finance hits a wall as bets on huge gains falter. SoftBank's son cried about Nvidia's stake sale to fund AI bets. Oil gains with attack on key Black Sea terminal. Venezuela risk. Okay. So let's jump out here to the most recent and we'll work our way back. So it looks like all of this stuff is like within the hour. Let's go to, let's see what they're talking about. 4 catalysts that could fuel market gains through December. All right, let's start there.
Catalysts upcoming either between now and the end of the year, or early into next year, that could be positive for stocks or negative? Or what are the big events that you've got your eye on?
Well, as I said, the first one starts with the Fed. And I think within the Fed is not a foregone conclusion that there will be a Fed cut because there is discrepancy within the Fed members on the committee from, on one hand, the discussion and the discrepancies between what we have on a sticky inflation and a potential softer labor market. And those two seem to be collapsing. And then that created that. Now, if they were to go and create, and today the probability of a Fed cut is up to 70%, and it just happened, to go from 40% to 70% over the weekend. That actually could provide a catalyst. The second one is the continuation of a confirmation that the AI capital expenditures continue to grow. And I think that if you can start seeing signs that there are potentials for that AI return on investments to start consolidating, that could also be another catalyst. And of course, in this part of the year, seasonality will play put a lot of attention on consumer spending, and a big part of how consumer confidence goes into the end of the year will potentially be another catalyst for the market to take off.
What about you, Amy? As you look into December, specifically about the Fed and the possibility of a rate cut or not, how are you thinking about that, and what are you seeing in terms of what's being priced into the market here?
Yeah, clearly a lot of what's been going on in the market has been highly correlated to the Fed. And, when you looked at that December pricing and it looked like we weren't going to get it, we got that tantrum, and then Williams comes out and says something, and, the toddler's a little bit relieved. I would add one thing prior to the Fed that I think is going to be very important, which is actually Oracle, because of so much of the credit issuance you've seen. You've seen this huge divergence between what we see in the credit markets in terms of spreads widening and actually equity volatility not catching up. So I think, one, that'll be important as the catalyst. And then two, obviously the Fed decision. But beyond that, also who the next Fed chair will be and how amenable that Fed chair will be compared to Powell to doing something different as we head into 2026, Julie.
Okay.
Mish, I want to follow up on gold, and I'm going to put a chart here on the Wi-Fi Interactive. Maybe we can show it here in a second. But gold is up 24% over the last 3 months. What stands out to me is we had this consolidation period. Looks like it's breaking out of this sideways trending pennant there. And I'm wondering if you have any upside targets in gold and what they might jive with in terms of the fundamentals. Gold kind of rallying on interest rate expectations and what the Fed is doing, and maybe even a weaker dollar.
Well, yeah, those are definitely two factors, and I'll work down and then come to a target. We also have a tremendous deficit, as high as it's been since the pandemic, maybe even a little higher as of October. We also have a tremendous amount of government spending. And then on top of that, we have a tremendous amount of central bank buying still in gold. And so it's interesting because as you're seeing the optimism in the overall market, and particularly in the rotation, gold continues to soar. And then we have statements coming out like the end of income tax, Trump coming out this morning and saying we're going to keep the stock market high. It's great for 401ks. All of this is very inflationary, and that's what gold is really responding to. I think 4,700 would be a good next target.
Okay.
It's that time of year when everybody's hunting doorbusters and bargains, but while you're fighting for half-price air fryers, there is another clearance aisle hiding in plain sight. That's going to be value stocks. And that's what we're digging into on today's Stocks in Translation. Cheap names with real earnings power, showing you how to build your own holiday stock shopping list with the Yahoo Finance data and tools. Let's start with what a value stock is. It's a stock price low versus its earnings, its assets, or its cash flow, leaving room for upside if expectations improve. Think of it as a good jacket on the sale racket. Nothing wrong with the fabric, it's just maybe out of favor or in the wrong size pile. But if the fundamentals hold up, you're basically paying less than full price for the same underlying business. But every sale rack has its studs. And in the stock market, that is called the classic value trap. Now that is a stock that looks cheap, but keeps falling because their business is deteriorating, and not just because Wall Street sentiment is temporarily negative. Maybe earnings are starting to roll over, maybe the industry is shrinking, or maybe the dividend is about to be cut. On screen, it looks like a steal, but you soon face regret. So be careful, because in stock picking, there are no returns. Now, let's build a shopping list using the Yahoo Finance Screener. You can find a great preset just by searching Yahoo Finance Screener and clicking on Undervalued Growth Stocks. And here we have some of the categories here. Over 100 names are going to pop up in the results. So let's check in on the filters it's using, then we can whittle down that list. So it starts here with a trailing price to equity ratio from 0 to 20. So you're basically paying under $20 for each dollar of last year's profits. It uses the so-called PEG ratio at a setting of below 1, which means that the price is low compared with how fast earnings or profits are growing. It requires earnings per share to be at least 25% above 1 year ago, so we're not buying total laggards. And it limits the baskets to companies listed on the NYSE or the NASDAQ, just the major US exchanges. Now here's the basket that I ended up with, and we're showing year-to-date returns here on this heat map. I took out all the companies under $1 billion in market cap, and I'm looking for companies paying a nice dividend so that you get paid even if the stock price goes nowhere.
There with me.
You can do this by sorting or filtering for forward dividend yield. But always research the dividend situation of a company, because
and he got fiber in there.
Usually
I got that one too.
When a stock price gets beaten down, the dividend yield goes up, and it can look huge on the screen. Sometimes it's a real doorbuster. Sometimes it's a sign that the market expects a dividend cut.
I had BBD for a little bit.
Now, let's take a look at two of the bigger names. Take Pfizer here. It looks like a classic value trap. And I'm going to put this on a 5-year so you can see the performance. This is after its stock COVID business fell off a cliff and the stock price dropped. So it's down 3% this year, and the company still pays a hefty dividend around 6 to 7%. But cash flow is tighter as it spends to rebuild the drug pipeline, which is why the PEG looks weak. It's real income today with real questions about longer-term growth. Then let's take a look at Ford here, which is cyclical value, tied to the US economy with a big sticker yield around 5 to 6%. It pays a regular dividend, but profits are under pressure from EV losses and a choppy auto cycle. And also, guidance has come down. Its negative PEG ratio tells you that Wall Street expect earnings to shrink, not to grow. This is a doorbuster where the yield is real, but the fundamentals, they have to earn it. It's up over 30% this year, but it's still been cut in half from its 2022 all-time highs. So how do you keep your holiday value basket from turning into a bag of returns? Here is what to watch next. And I got a nice little list here for you. First, you want to watch out for earnings results and guidance. Are the profits still growing, or are they starting to roll over? Then look for dividend changes, hikes, pauses, cuts, because the income line is often the first place stress shows up. Next, check in on your basket and how it's doing versus the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ over time. And finally, watch for changes in interest rate expectations and chatter, because shifts in rates can swing the pendulum between value and growth. And tune into the Stocks in Translation podcast for more jargon-busting deep dives. New episodes can be found Tuesdays and Thursdays on Yahoo Finance's website or wherever you find your podcast.
Pretty good advice. All right.
So let's talk about then where people should be looking outside of the AI trade, or sort of the like direct AI trade when we're talking about big tech, Mark. What other sectors would you be looking at? I mean, there's certainly a lot of laggards this year to pick from, but just because something's lagged doesn't mean it's going to do well next year. So what are you looking at? What are you thinking about?
Well, we look at the macro picture, and it's been much more resilient than had been feared. And also the earnings trends that over the last couple of quarters have been very encouraging. So we're looking at areas that have been largely forgotten from a valuation perspective, like financials, like industrials, and also small caps, areas that are pro-cyclical, a little bit risk on historically, but haven't necessarily done that in this cycle and certainly this year. So we are in the...
All right, first, let me call out Kala. So its ATR high is up here at 120, has come down here and tested this peak daily level. It's kind of rested here. The next lower level is at the 105s. It has 14 million shares traded with the ATR of 23 cents. It is sold off quite a bit here, and it has the investor news with old David, whatever his name is, David Kazar. And I don't know what, if this is going to be something exciting, but it keeps getting this volume. So I'm just looking over here at it and wondering if it's going to try to break over. I mean, it's literally only 5 cents here from 115 up to 119. But I'm not sure if it's going to break over. And let me do a test and see if this gives me the same response as the other one gave me with the Chinese stock. See if this one actually tries to go through. This one went through. Okay, so this one is a tradable stock on TOS. Cancel that order. So it looks like, again, I don't know if this one's going to do anything. It's up 15%. I'm really looking for something else to come and try to shove it off the map. But currently with the low floats, it's in number 2 position under the Chinese stock, which we have saw that TOS has blocked those trades. And plus it only has what, 4 million shares in the trading on WeBuy, and Kala has 14 million, so 10 million more. Definitely running up the views on that channel. So kind of just trying to see what is going to come up here. Looking for new high flows, looking for a new direction. The overall market is showing red. Back over here to the main. So Kala is coming right down to this lower daily gap level of the 105s. Continues to show that weakness. And now it's only up 11%. So since it is pretty much the only thing, I wonder, is it going to get super thickly traded? The point of control is all the way up here at 142. Hasn't moved down yet. So majority of the trades have been up here, and that's a lot of walls for it to try to get back through. But now tapping this 105 level here, this is the lower daily gap level there. And now only up 7%. So definitely lost this soul going to the downside there. So low floats, definitely not looking that great, especially with that one losing. Now we only have one above 10%, which is WeBuy, the blocked stock. On the higher floats, we only have Nvidia, and it is red on the day. So a lot of kind of wait and see, wait and find out type of momentum going on here. Yep. So that's what I will do, is just chill. Go back over here.
Optimistic camp, but we'd be much more oriented towards the risk reward group that has higher upside. And we think, the groups that are in the low to mid teens valuation that are expected to grow in a, double digit type of pace next year, that's the areas where you'd be looking.
And how reliant are those areas on a Fed rate cut? And does it matter if it starts or resumes, I guess, in December or in January and beyond?
Well, the December rate cut, as you know, is much more, about a signal than it is about that 25 basis points per se. Those small cap space and certainly the financials have been very reactive towards movement in Fed funds curve. And the fact that we're up almost towards an 80% type of expectations for December is certainly a tailwind for that group. But this is more of a broader call. It's the fact that the rest of the globe is starting to accelerate. We're seeing 4% type of growth within the GDP in the third quarter, double-digit growth across
Danielle
the
called out
S&P 500 in terms
QTTB.
of earnings.
QTTB. Let's go look at that. All right, so this one started from $2.13 and now it's up here at $4.50. Okay, so let's do our due diligence on this bad boy. QTTB. Q32 Bio. Okay, profile. It is definitely doing some things, but I want to do my due diligence first. This one is also from Massachusetts. This is another biotech company. A clinical stage biotechnology company develops novel biologics to restore healthy immune balance in patients with autoimmune and inflammatory disease or diseases driven by pathological immune dysfunction. The company is developing this thing, a fully human anti-interleukin receptor. What does it do though? Monoclonal antibodies function by blocking signaling mediated. Okay, what is it doing? Okay, so atopic dermatitis and alopecia. Okay, so alopecia, and this is out of Massachusetts as well. Go look at the stats. See if that what that float's looking like. Float is 5.5 million. Outstanding shares are 12.3. So QTTB. How much volume does it have? All right, so it's up 96% with 13 million shares traded on QTTB, another biotech stock out of Massachusetts. Go ahead and take some notes here. So Massachusetts, I just put US based. The float is 5.5 million. And the outstanding shares is 12. So outstanding shares 12 mil. And then we have, let's see, what is the news here? So let's go over to the news. It does have a catalyst for today. So whoops, it does have a catalyst for today. So Alakiba announces establishment of rare kidney disease pipeline. It sells complement inhibitor ADX. Okay, sells eligible to receive up to 592 million in milestones as well as royalties. So it's eligible, but will it receive it though? Let's look for more money talk. Complement. Financial terms of the agreement. Okay, 3 million payment upon the 6-month anniversary. Global rights. Kiba will also make a $3 million payment. Okay, so that's a little bit of money talk. Let's continue up here. Money talk, money talk. Okay, and this is a clear one. It's basically bio Q32 bio sales phase 2 complement inhibitor to Akiba Therapeutics for 12 million upfront payment. Okay, so they're going to get 12 million in pocket, eligible to receive up to 592 million in milestones as well as royalties. Akiba Therapeutics, let's see. So they're definitely receiving quite a bit of money. Market moving, boom, boom, boom. Okay, up 96%, and we'll see if it wants to take the day. Hit a high up here of $4.50. Stand to the right. We'll see what it wants to do. Does it want to go ahead and break or what? Point of control is down here to 382s. Let's look at the daily chart as well. Oh, wow. Popped through there a little bit. So new high there invalidates what we were just seeing. So we'll see how this new high functions right there at 450. It's been up here 1, 2, 3 times. It got pushed down a little bit. So we'll see if it rolls over. But let's look at the daily chart for QTTB. Okay, so it has a level out here, not really a peak level, more like just a level at $4. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that up. So a daily level here at 4. And I will edit, put up here. Possible daily level. Let's back up a little bit. Okay. Wow, it's quite a way away from this gap. I don't know how many splits that it's done, but looks like it had quite a bit of a drop from 60. I don't know if it's ever even traded at 60, but this might be just because of splits, but fell down here. And we're just looking for obvious levels out here. $4 was an obvious one. And this one's all the way up to 8. I don't know if it can get 8, but it is getting the money. So I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and put this as maybe a possible level, 890, 875-ish. But I'm not sure on that. Wish it would zoom in a little bit more. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. 864. Edit, maybe a possible daily level there. But again, I am not confident on any of that. It's kind of far away, especially with these splits and things. Now, of course, we did see a stock with a lot of splits on it from Friday move, but it was connected to gold and currency and security and all of that. So I'm not sure if this one's going to have the same effect. And this one is a little bit more outstanding shares. So we'll see if they try to dilute or what they try to do with these are they going to try to do a money grab today is what I'm trying to say. QTTB, very choppy in here. Kala back down to 11%. So yeah, QTTB, if it's going to lead the day with 15 million shares, it is what it is. But I'm thinking they're going to be trying to do a money grab here. Look at the two obvious levels that I got here. So I got one up here at 864. Oh, my bad. Got one up here at 864 here, possible day level, and then one down here at 4. So I mean, that's kind of like a throw in the dark. It's not too many close levels here, and it's 27 cents away from this $4 level. So I'm really not sure, and it has hit this 451 3 times as well. So kind of like a little triple top. And we're looking for structure. Now from down here, we had a gap up to 250, but no clear structure on the bottom side to be like an uptrend or structure from the down or the downside for a clear downtrend. So just kind of sitting there waiting on both of these. And it keeps kind of flipping back and forth. We'll see if it continues to hold under that 450. But plenty of volume on this one though. 16 million shares traded and continues to make these lower highs. So let's see if we can see any kind of new structure below, let's say 443s, where these bodies ended up shoving it down. Okay, to the right, and we will activate. See if that continues to hold it down there. Definitely finding some slowdown. Bottom of this is 420s. ATR is 28 cents. The ATR high down here is down here at 242. So it did get above ATR high, but the thing is, I like an overlap of the criteria that I look for. One, I like to see low outstanding shares as well as low float. This one has a little bit higher outstanding shares. It is above the ATR highs from yesterday. It doesn't have a lot of structure yet. We're seeing wicks up here, so we'll see how this structure ends up panning out. We kind of identify it, but we don't really know if this is real structure because I literally just drew it on here and it's only tested a couple of times, so we'll see what happens there. But as far as everything else goes, it looks does look bullish for sure now. But we'll see what it wants to do after it certifies this structure. So now it did a little wick out here. So we will look at this as structure. So new structure, it kind of looked like it was going to invalidate the old, but now it has a new structure here. And we'll see if it can trade above this level or is it going to drop back below $4. And like I said, it's a little bit outside of my scope because of that higher float or not higher float, but the higher outstanding shares. And also, I know they got money coming in, so it may be a grinder throughout the day. They are getting that upfront payment of $12 million, but they could, or they're eligible to get up to like 592,000. So let me make sure I'm saying those numbers right too while I'm quoting numbers here. Yeah. So right here, for they are selling this inhibitor to Akebia Therapeutics for 12 mil upfront payment. The company is eligible to receive up to 592 million. So let me see if I can copy this or something and put it on the chart. Okay, so I can copy it, but I need to shape this thing down. It's gonna be stretched across the chart. Um, hmm. 12 million upfront payment. Company eligible for blase blase. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. It'll be a little long, but it'll work. We'll edit this, or not edit this, activate this, and let me move it down here so we can read it all. So this is basically what its frontline news is. So it's selling this phase 2 complement inhibitor, ADX 0972 Akebia Therapeutics for 12 million upfront payment, and then the company is eligible for this 500 whatever million in milestones. So we'll see how that goes. It continues to come up here, and we'll see if it stays under this new level. So we got to look for new structure. It made a new high, so new structure under 450s, and this has been 1, 2, 3 good times that it's been up here on the 1 minute. Let me look at the 5 and the 15 minute. Everything kind of looks like it's hitting its head up there at the 450s each and every time. So point of control right now on the 1 minute is 422. Point of control on the 5 minute is 420, and point of control on the 15 minute is 374. So 374 down here. Let me mark this up. 374 up to 422. So it's got this range of heavy trading up in here. And we'll see if it does dumps. How does it want to play with this heavy, or is it going to go ahead and break out and continue upward? All right, Irene, IREN, just joined the high float scanner. It is down 5%. So both of the high float movers are down into the red on this morning. Let's see, anything else? Nope. Kala continued to play around down there. SGNY Signing Day Sports announced they filing for registration statement form S4 for proposed business combination with One Blockchain LLC. That's SGN, but it's only up 7%, so it has a lot of work to do competing with some of these higher volume movers. All right, back over to QTTB. Let's just start mapping out some ideas that could come into play. I'm not sure though. So we got this one test point through here, which means it has room back to the 4 if it's right. Then from this high point of 450, now we have a new idea down here. We'll see if it continues to hold this. Okay, so 2 structure levels, and now it's coming to play in the highly traded levels here between like 425 and 375. So we'll see if it continues to play here. It's still up 91%. Room down to this 4. Let's see what happens. All right, so there's a tap on the 4 right there. Is it going to stop there? This candle hasn't closed. This is a 1 minute candle. Little clip through the 4 there. Now up 83%, but with 29 million shares traded, almost going towards 30 million shares traded here. Bouncing off of that whole dollar level. But has room down to that 375. So definitely be careful. Back up to that previous structure. Just a little pop and drop. Rexcon said, I've been experimenting a little with fair value gaps. QTB would have worked this morning. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they have bad news. They're getting $12 million out front. The only thing that for me, trading low floats is I like those moves to come on in. Okay, so we got another high float joining the high float scanner. Circle CRCL. It is also red. So what we're seeing on Monday morning, these tickers that usually move big are all red. So there seems to be a little bit of bearish sentiment in the market. Back up here to QTTB, testing the top side of this heavily traded level, but not being able to escape the box. Only 10 cents away from that whole dollar level, but it continues to hold up here, even though it is a little bouncy, holding above that $4. And I'm just looking for, okay, well, is this trend going to work? Is this going to be something that becomes, something that it can hold throughout the day, or what? It's got plenty of volume. Now it's over 30 million shares traded here in pre-market. Outstanding shares is 12 million. So that's what, 12 times 2 is 12 times 2 is 24, and then 12 times 3 is 36. So 36 would be a 3-time rotation of these outstanding shares. So definitely heavy traded. Heavily traded. Continues to hit his head on that point of control right under that 422. And at this point, there's so many crossovers of indicators and things right here. I'm not sure what it wants to do, so I kind of want to see, is it going to attack the buyers or the sellers here? brought the point of control down there, from 122 down to 416. Let's see if it continues to push down. Why they're trading so heavy around that 415 level. But will we see a crash of this level down here of the 408s? Would be the trend or the idea here. Okay. So continue to hold that trend, it looks like. Getting away from these previous ideas. And we'll see. Still holding this up. 408, 409-ish level. Tapping it. See if it ends up holding it again. So basically a breakout of this level will be back over 420. $31 million shares traded. Once it gets to slip through there a little bit back towards that $4 whole dollar level. And now treating that previous idea as a little bit of resistance. We'll see if it continues to hold this level 411s and can it break over this 420 level. Oh, you posted something in Discord. Let me flip that open. There's the 4 all the way up to that 420 level. And this is looking a little strong here. So holding that little idea of a trend, we'll see how it closes and if it stays up here and if it can break out of the 420 level. Still up 89%. Let's look at Discord. See what we got. Okay. Experimented fair value gaps, QTTB have would have worked this morning. Oh yeah. So looking here. So you got a 0.38 R FVG. FVG. So you got a 38-cent R, and then if you were to sell up there, you get a 70-cent plus 70. Some pretty good motion there. Also, we do have a Discord, so it's a free resource that you can be a part of. Pretty much talk about trading, talk about different investment strategies in there. So a link should have been dropped in the description. Maybe not yet. Let me go get that. Discord. Boom, boom, boom. Copy. Yeah, but that's where he is posting his charts. Fair value gaps. I've heard I've heard of somebody using fair value. Basically, just that's all they do is trade gaps, gap fills, gap up, gap down, all of that. I've never really learned to use the gaps. I kind of use them as levels or possible places where it could find like support or resistance, but never have used it like or had time to use it, especially on these small caps for a gap fill. Usually for the larger caps, it's a little bit easier to do. Okay, so it is continuing to come back up here. It's continuing to come back up here and look bullish here. So held over the $4 level, break over this 416, over 420 is going to be looking very bullish if it can do it. Still holding these levels though, looking for a break over 420. There's 415. And it just needs to get over this trend, to be honest. But if it cannot get back to those 420s, it's going to be looking kind of weak. Kind of weak. Nvidia large cap, and see that one makes more sense on Nvidia. But you just got to be up early looking for those gaps, looking for those fair value feels there. Have you ever used the Bollinger Bands? The Bollinger Bands for your trading? All right, so again, we're coming up here again, man. Yeah, I'm looking at the Nvidia chart in the Discord. So the top side here again, and this is what I don't like about these choppers. I like for them to just explode through night. It might go through 420, but look at how much chop it is, man. Got me waiting like this. Like with a lower float, with a lower outstanding shares, man, that thing just boop, you know. So it is continuing to hit its head here. And if it closes and doesn't touch this trend again, I'm thinking that's going to be a little bit of weakness under the 418s or whatnot. So it's about to close this candle now. And the bottom side of the previous candle was 413. So definitely looking a little weak here. Needs to get over. Looking a little weak. So was not able to get that 420 up there. Let's see. From here. There is a little bit of idea, but I'm not sure now because the way it's moving. Yeah, I heard I day trade or I buy, wait, a guy I trade with is teaching me his approach using fair value. If it works well, I report yay. If it's something that works, you know, it's one of those things. And the thing is, also, what tools does it work well with? Is it just fair value by, okay, this thing just continue. I'm telling you, this thing kind of looks a little bullish. It's playing around, chopping people around, but I really don't like the way it's just continue to fake out these breakdowns and being right back up on this level. What was I saying? So yeah, fair value gap by itself, or is it paired with something else that you use? This time it didn't get a chance to touch that high level there. Use it as resistance once again. And now it's up 87%. And it never did escape the box that we have here. So let's see what it wants to do to the downside. It's got the $4 hold dollar there. It is now showing us that shorts really want this thing down. So we'll see if it can break down 405s. Yeah. So back up here to the low floats collar that we were watching earlier. Did come back up here to this ATR high. So it went from 105 back up here, but again, coming right back down to the ATR high. It's only up 23% with 30 million. So, I mean, it's right behind QTTB, but QTTB has more volume. So I'm thinking that's where it is because it has the best news on the day. And if it's going to be leading, I'm going to wait until QTTB fails out. If it's going to fail, if it holds all day, then it's just telling me to just chill. Because it definitely does not have bad news. Another Tesla just got added onto the high floats, and it is red as well. So Nvidia, Irene, Circle, and Tesla are red. All have reached 1 million shares in the pre-market. I hate when stocks do this. Look at it. This thing's about to break out, bro. Why does it keep doing this? It's that the point of control has moved down to 416, and it's looking like it wants to get back through this level up here. Getting real bouncy. So it is completely stayed away from this one, so we can delete this one. And basically, after a while, I do a little bit of cleanup. So this one, for it to hit this one, it would have to come all the way down here to 353s, which is not looking possible right now. So delete that one. It has this one down here that will be down here to the 365s, which is still quite a bit of a fall, but it's staying around this idea up here of the 420 break. So again, working its way away from this level now. Many fakes and breaks here. Bottom side of this is 405 now. Bruh. Okay, this thing is crazy. There's a 420 right back up here to the trend. Will the shorts jump back on this this ride here back into the box? So 425s, will the shorts hit it here? Right up here, this was the original, or one of the original levels here. So this is going to be an outlier. And this could be a downtrend within a downtrend here. So let's go ahead and get ready to mark that up. Downtrend within a downtrend. And extend to the right. So if it fails back into the box, it looks like we're going to have a downtrend in a downtrend, which would be weakness. Yep. Come on back in the box. Yep. Go ahead, shorts. Do your thing. You got room all the way down here to the 374s. This one back here is kind of out of play. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. We're looking for more ideas to try to fail. Got one right here. Came down here to 396. Wow. Right up there to the previous one, and it does not look like they're going to be able to hold it down here. Come on, shorts. What y'all doing? I got one job. To not get squeezed. Let's get back in that box. So that was a new high, so we'll go ahead and put out a new idea here. Right through here. Continue to watch and see how it trades. $34 million shares traded, so 36 will be 3 times rotating those outstanding shares. And it's coming up on there with 2 million more shares. It'll be there. So basically, when I see my chart look like this and it's kind of looking like a mess of lines, I'm like, well, is it really clear? Because a lot of times on the things that I do trade, it becomes really clear as to what it's trying to do. And it's not so many, pops and drops and all of this. Is actually clean moves out here. But this looks a little messy. So we gotta go through another cleanup section. Because this is definitely looking like he wants to get back in that box down there. Okay, point of control has actually moved up from 375, so we will activate this and move this. It's moved up from 375 to 401. 401 on the 15 minute. So literally right here at the 4. Below that, I'm thinking weak. All right, well, it is 7:30. I don't know what this thing wants to do. It has pretty good news. I mean, I really don't see why it would dump with 12 million. It's about to make $12 million. The only thing is it is out of scope for me because one, I like to pay attention to the charts. All of these wicks and things are definitely like death strokes. I don't like that. I like those clean moves. And two, it is a little bit higher outstanding shares. So I'm thinking that's what's causing a little bit of this chop as well. But definitely some opportunities, but just not opportunities for me. Again, popping that level again, man. Shorts getting their full fill up here, isn't it? I guess they're trying to make their money back from SMX. Does not look like they're gonna make it though. Man, look at all these wicks. All right, so this high up here is 438, so that's another one. Other idea up here, and see how messy this is getting. All of these ideas just keep getting, it's questionable. They're validated, invalidated, validated, invalidated. We don't know what it wants to really do. But at this point, has room back down here to the 411s. Whew. Well, the shorts are not making their money back today. Lordy. All right. Well, that was from the 434s up here to the 473s, and I don't know if it's gonna be able to get back up there. Let me go look at the daily chart. Let me see what we were looking at. So it's got this other level all the way up here at the 864s, and I don't think it's gonna get up there. But this one right here, that 473, a lot of people probably got filled up here, and now they're down a little bit. So we'll see if shorts continue to punish them below 450s, or is this thing going to start maxing them out to the upside? Yeah, there it is coming on down. So pretty much invalidated all of these little downtrends in here. We'll see what happens when it comes back into this level, and this is why I don't like these types. Very unpredictable. You have to hold through all this chop just to get that move. That was quite a bit of a blow up, though, for sure. A lot of people probably like, oh my goodness, it's going, and they bought, and now they're going to get punished. So below 450, I'm thinking it's going to come back down here where this previous peak was and crash out. Come on, back under 450, big boy. Point of control is still at the same place on the 15-minute at $4. Point of control is at the 420 on the 5, and then over here on the 1 minute is at 412. So it really hasn't moved from where it was down there. Not a lot of volume coming in up here. It has reached 37 million shares traded, which is a 3-time rotation of its outstanding shares, and it's only moved really after it made this move up. Let's see, from about 340 up to 473, so not a huge movement up in here. Not a whole lot of volatility. So let's see it come on back down to earth. And is it actually going to start holding down here? So we got 473 top. And it's too steep. Can't do anything with that. It's too steep. Anyway, I'm about to get on down. I'm going to continue looking for low floats. And I got people calling me. All right. So yeah, I got to get on down and see what's going on over here. But yeah. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's kind of how I trade the things that I kind of like. Look for the structure, buy lows, buy off of some type of low support, and then get the ride up. So that's pretty much how I do it. But this one just wasn't meeting the scope of what I'm looking for today. Way too choppy. 450s. Okay, still too steep there. But yeah, I'm about to get out of here. Let me stop analyzing this one. Let's do one more run through of the low floats. So we got low floats, Kala, we buy, all of these are the low floats. All of them are less volume than QTTB. High floats, we have Nvidia, Irene, Circle, and Tesla, all red. So there is some bearishness in the market. The overall market has been sitting sideways, but is below the previous ATR, so has been walking down back towards the 25,000. So not sure what that wants to do. But yeah, that's it for me today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll be back on pre-market tomorrow. Hopefully we have less Chinese stocks and more actual movers out here that are low floats that can kick the bucket down the road. And we're going to protect our yeah, I'm watching on the 1 minute chart, but even on the 5 minute, I'm looking on the 5 minute on my other charts here. So I'm watching this one, QTB. You see these wicks out here on the 5 minute? Let me make this bigger actually. So this is what I'm looking at on my other charts. I'm looking at all other charts. I'm not just looking on the 1 minute. I'm looking over here too. So you see these wicks over here on the 5, and then if I go to the go to the 15, which I also have pulled up over here, you can see even on the 15, these big wick strokes, right? So I'm like, we'll see. But like I said, no matter what, the catalyst behind this isn't bad, right? It's, you know, I like the catalyst for sure, but I'm gonna let somebody else operate on that opportunity. And that's probably why it's filing up like this, because of that catalyst. Hit a high up here of 471. But yeah, about to get on down. And I will circle back during the day if nothing else can beat out this one, because this is where the focus is. Almost 40 million shares traded on it. Insane, up 110%. But I just don't see this one giving me what I need. I like to feel a little bit of safety. And of course, last month I got in and I was rushing to trade the beginning of the last month, and that's what set me back so much. Even though I finished last month green and all of that stuff, it's like, man, let me just find something that I can believe in. You know what I'm saying? I can believe in. But this one, I mean, it just continues to pile in, pile up. So if you're taking the trades on this one, hey, God bless you, man. We looked at the catalyst. We know the catalyst isn't bad, and it is pushing up to 486. But, you know, pre-market trades going up. It might go to 5, actually. And it had all the way up here to 864 was the next obvious level. Doing a whole lot of pushing. But yeah, I'm about to jump off here for real. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.